Hey everyone, welcome to our product research live stream. In this series, Jake and I do live product research with you here so that you can see the process and see how we would go about looking for products. Keeping that in mind, it is a very short amount of time to do product research, so it's not like we're going to find a product that would be ready to launch tomorrow, but at least you'll get a bit of an idea about the sorts of questions and things that we're looking at as we go through the process. So without further ado, let's dive in. Jake,
Good.
what category and filters are we looking at in Jungle Scout today?
Yeah, so if you followed along in our previous 4 episodes, you'll see we started with arts and crafts and sewing. We found 3 products there, and then we did automotive. We went to baby category, and then last episode we did the home and kitchen category, which we found a lot of great products there. This episode we're going to do the inverse basically. So we're going to do kitchen and dining category. It's a huge category on Amazon. This can range from these are things that people use every single day. So the products range is insane here. So Lenny, I'm excited to look through this category, knowing there's a ton of great products, and this is one of the most popular categories on Amazon.
Definitely, yeah. I've sold products in this category before as well. I think it's definitely one of my favorite categories.
Absolutely. And just a little bit of context here, real quick, before we dive in. This right here, what you're seeing is the product tracker. This is where we're keeping track of all of our products so far that we found in this season that we've done so far. And we've been finding about 3 products per episode. And so we're hopefully going to find 3 more. If we don't, that's okay. We just want to show you guys the process of finding products in the very beginning, what to look for. And really what we look for in, mostly is demand. And if you've seen our Jungle
Yes.
Scout videos, you know this is how we determine demand, which is sales. And I'm just going to put in 300 monthly sales there as the minimum so that we don't see any product that dip below our high demand threshold. Now then, what we do is we look at price, monthly price, to show us products that are more than likely going to help us become more profitable. So in this minimum monthly price, we like to sell anything more than $20. That way, if it's, Amazon increases their fees like they recently done, or maybe our shipping costs are increased, or something happens where our costs go up, we're still going to be able to be profitable. And $20 is a safe floor for that. And then on the inverse, $70 is just great because anything above that amount, this is very arbitrary, but people will have a harder time spending or as an impulse buy, really, especially on a brand they're not familiar with. So $20 to $70 is how we like to look for products in that range. This isn't a hard and fast rule. We really recommend you playing around with these numbers, but for our purposes here and to try to find a product quickly, we're going to use those two to determine demand and competition. Or I'm sorry, demand and profitability. But for competition, this is where we have this fun little slider here with the opportunity finder, and we can bring it down to low, which is great if you're just getting started out. But I've been finding medium, and Lenny, you've been finding this as well, I believe too, right? Is medium will really
Yeah.
open up a lot of opportunities, and I think it's a great place to start, and then maybe narrow down to low as we go along.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you said it earlier. Demand is the most important thing because, you know, you do want low competition, but it is possible to compete with competition, but it's not possible to generate demand that doesn't exist. So I would say that's definitely number one. And the competition, ideally lower, but I think medium can present some good ideas, like you're saying as well, for sure.
Absolutely. Now, one quick thing here before we hit search, there's a seasonality slider here. We're going to adjust. We're going to go it down to low, just because we don't want to sell anything that's Christmas themed or just around one time of the year. So we just want to eliminate that from the possibilities of products that we're going to look at today. So Lenny, I know we've
All
been doing
right.
like these timers. I'm going to hit search real quick just to so Joan Scott can think and get our list up here. But we've been doing timers to like help us structure each section and get on to the next product idea. Let me
Yes.
know what's on screen, and then we'll start the 15-minute or however long we have to find a product.
All right. So we've got 15 minutes on the clock. Everyone, that might seem like
Okay.
a long time, but it's actually really challenging to find a product in this
Yeah.
time. So, yeah, I guess let's not waste any moments. Let's start going
Yes.
through these search results and, yeah, see if there's any ideas that look good. I guess what sort
Yeah.
of things are you looking at, Jake? I'm looking at like what
Hmm.
things in this list look fairly easy, or like products that
Right.
could be fairly simple to manufacture. things that would be maybe small and lightweight. They're not oversized and large. Those are a couple of
Exactly.
things that I'm looking at as we're going through this list.
Yep, you hit it right there on the nail. It could be whatever you want to, and we have these columns up here. Like we're currently sorted by niche score, which is basically a scale of 1 to 10, of 10 being a better niche to get into, and 1 being a harder niche to get into. But we can do it by search volume of the keyword, the price, the average units sold. You can really customize your view here, and we have 242 products to choose from. We're seeing, but yeah, Lenny, I think it's just probably going to be quicker for us to just look at it by like the name. And so, like for example, handheld food processor. Well, it's in the name handheld, so it's going to be small. And
Yeah.
I've seen these before; they're relatively small. To your point, Lenny, like we probably want to look for things that we assume are going to fit in a shoebox, because that's what Amazon would call standard products. And if you're not a standard product, you're most likely an oversized product, and they charge more for that. So we want to kind of keep that in mind as we're looking through products. So something like this, I think, could be interesting to at least look into a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, I guess what we're able to do with any product on this list is pull open a few things, the average units sold over the last 2 years, which is great for making sure, like, okay, right now it is rising up, but is it consistently strong? And remember, 300 is our number. I'm having a hard time now finding any month in the last 2 years where it's ever gone under 300. So that's checking off right away. Average price, you can do the same thing there. I assume this is going to be consistently, yeah, around the $45 range, it looks like. And we can confirm that. Right now, the average monthly price is $26.83, it looks like. So that's great. And then search volume is great to also help with demand. It's really spiking right now, so that's interesting. And then top products. So this is where we sort of start these videos, if you've seen them so far, is we come over the top products to get an idea of what they are. And we can even, like, if we were unaware, we can click this icon to search for it on Amazon, and just to get a better idea of what's going on here. So Lenny, just because we're here, what do we say
Yeah.
we do search for this product, run it through the extension, and see if the niche as a whole sort of hits our like factors that we like to call them of a good niche.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do that. So, typically, what we're going to do here is we're going to utilize a different Jungle Scout tool called the extension, which runs on Amazon.com itself. And it'll give you all of this great information, very similar to what you see in that table in the opportunity finder, but you're going to see that for all the listings that are actually on this Amazon page. So, what Jake's done here is he sort of picked. You start out by picking what you think is the main sort of keyword, or like what's the main title of this product. So we put in handheld food processor, which I think is probably correct, would be the main thing. And it's actually the name of the opportunity there. So yeah, what's the extension telling us offhand? A seven opportunity score. Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 7 opportunity score. And I guess if you're unaware of that, it's a 1 to 10 scale, basically, of 10 being a better opportunity, 1 being a worse opportunity. It's a great starting point. It's never going to be 100% accurate. It's hopefully helping you just quickly glance at it when you're just like, you're browsing one day, you see something on Amazon, like, oh, I wonder what the opportunity score is. It's a real cool way to come check it out. And then you use the rest of this data here to do more digging around. But Lenny, the first thing I'm seeing is it looks like the same product. Like, this is when when all these products are the similar, like this top like 8-9 products, is this is a hot product right now. And I guess I can, for private label sellers, I should say.
Yeah.
And another way you can find that is, one of my favorite columns when I look at product research is date first available. And the first like 10 products at least are 2022. That's this year, in case anyone was watching this in the future. But this is really cool because someone like this is just launched, and they're getting 824 monthly sales, 60 monthly sales. Like, even if this is telling you, if you start out in this niche, there's a potential that you could also get very similar sales. So I think we're off to a good start in terms of checking off demand. But Lenny, what else do you see here if we maybe shift to competition or even profitability?
Yeah, so it looks like there's like a lot of great numbers as far as monthly sales or monthly and daily sales go. There are a couple of those listings. There's one there at the bottom that's like 0. There's that one third from
Yes.
the top, which is about 60. So those couple are lower, but there's reasonable distribution. It doesn't look like there's maybe at least 3 listings there that are in the sort of 4 digits. They're getting over 1,000
Hmm.
sales, and then a number of other listings that are less than 1,000, and then there's like, yeah, those couple there that are very, very low.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always sort of like a balancing act. I'd say that there's like enough distribution in there of sales for us to keep talking about it. It's not quite as good as
Hmm.
I would like to see it. It is dominated a
Yep.
little bit by a couple of listings. But it is also interesting, like you pointed out, that they have all launched recently. So that kind of could indicate to me that, yeah, we might have an opportunity as well, seeing as other people have been able to make so many sales and have launched recently. Playing devil's advocate to that idea, when you do see lots and lots of people that have just launched recently,
Hmm.
you might
Yep.
look at that and think like it could be too much competition. I guess it would depend on
Yeah.
if you're able to differentiate your product from everyone else's. If it felt like there wasn't
Exactly.
too much you could do to make our food processor different to all of these, then I'd maybe steer away from it, because it's like obviously lots and
Hmm.
lots of people are selling it, and if it's all the same thing, then eventually there's
Exact
just going to
same.
be this race to the bottom in terms of price.
I
So
agree.
there's
I
a yeah.
think you bring up a great point. This is like every single product looks the exact same. It's like the same green handle, same image. There's this one product that's slightly different, but one thing that like, we could do here is differentiate, like you said. If we really like this idea after, doing this for like 10, 20, 30 different product ideas, and this is like the one that we go, okay, I like this idea for some reason. Well, we'd want to differentiate. Like everybody looks to just be selling this, this processor, and this one maybe comes with like a brush or something. But we'd probably want to maybe add something to this. Or I know these are all electric ones. Maybe there's a manual one that people like. Um, different. It's just the green one. So like, there's probably nothing we can do on the color component. But is there a way that we can improve it? I'm sure there's other suppliers that offer different versions of it. So I might not want this green handle looking one, but I might want one that looks a little bit more modern. So one way that we can differentiate it as well.
Mm,
So yeah, what do you think, Lenny? It is kind of a worrisome category, I would say, or niche, because of everything you just mentioned. All these new sellers rushing. That's a clear warning to not get into this. I wouldn't want to push this if it's not a good idea. Maybe there's a way that we can find a spinoff of this idea, or I guess we can go back to the product database and try to find something real quick, or um, yeah, because one thing that we've done here on these episodes is just adding in different words or trying to niche down more. So just by doing a space after the word food processor, you see there's
mm.
chopper, there's cordless, so potentially not electronic, slicer, mini. There's all these different types of ways that we could niche down. Um, is still bringing up the
Yeah,
same products?
that's always a good point to mention, is that sometimes you'll find an overall niche that when you look at it, you might decide that it's either too competitive, not enough, or yeah, too competitive, or something else. However, there might always be an opportunity to kind of niche down and find something a little more specific as sort of a subcategory, which is what
Hmm.
we're looking at now.
And I think that was something I noticed. If I come back here, the product, the opportunity finder here, handheld food presser. I saw right above it, yeah, electric vegetable chopper. And there's so many different vegetables. Like what I just found here on the page was electric. It says veggie chopper, but it's also like a garlic chopper, garlic grinder, masher, onion chopper. So something like that. Like when we start here, we can easily shift and pivot, even if it wasn't in our opportunity finder here. Um,
Yeah,
that's something that we don't have to just stick with. Once we found the idea, this is just hopefully giving you ideas, the opportunity finder, and then giving you data to make it a better decision, or make you realize that that could be a good product to sell. But it's just a starting point. So
yeah.
we can always shift and pivot from there. um, yeah, so we real quick, I know we don't have too much time here, Lenny. Would we actually just want to look up the profitability of this item, like
Yeah.
just pretend you didn't see what you saw, and like maybe this would be a good idea, and if you were to get into it, what it would cost to get into, and just check off that profitability?
Yeah, let's do that. Um,
Yeah.
Cool. So as Jake starts to do that, just to give you all a heads up, again, we're not claiming to be able to find an amazing product to sell within 15 minutes. We'd love to, but as you can see, that time goes really quickly. But hopefully you're getting value from the questions that we're sort of poking at this product. But real quick, we want to show you, let's just assume that we did like this product. These are now the steps that or the next steps we would take to get a basic idea of profitability. So you'll see that Jake is here on Alibaba.com. This is one of the best places to source products. And what we're trying to do now is get a sense of how much it would cost to make this product.
Yep. So trying to find that exact same product we looked at. I'm noticing real quick, I'm pulling up 2 listings so far. I'm trying to get a few more.
It looks like the exact same photo.
They took the photo. Yeah, that's how you know it's just like a very low quality seller on that listing. So maybe that gives you confidence to go in there and crush them if you know what you're doing. But I have 2 pulled up here. I guess I can do another one. But there's like a little trick on Alibaba is the naming is going to be a little bit different than Amazon. So I noticed that both of these listings say 4-in-1 electric whatever. So that's something I can copy and paste in and potentially find more of. So see, these are basically the same ideas. This one I think was the one without the cord, but this is like very similar. It's a higher price point I noticed. Okay, so what I'm seeing, maybe just kind of look on the screen here rather than diving into the individual listings, is because this is exactly what we're trying to find here. Lenny, I'm seeing 479 to 556, and really that's the common price. If I just click into one to show, like we could, if we buy more inventory, get that down to like low 4s, but I'm seeing in that mid to high 4 range, maybe to mid 5 range here. Like that one's $8, but that one looks completely different. Looks a little nicer.
Yeah,
same type of style though. Yeah, so I'd say like around $5. And
yeah,
Lenny, I think we always play it safe anyway. So like if we pull up the extension again with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining to show you the profitability now, what we do is the way to calculate profitability is when you pull up the extension, if the product has, if it's FBA or if it's FBM, like a lot of these products are FBM. So that's an issue for trying to calculate profitability because FBM sellers don't have to, disclose a lot of things that, calculates into the net profit. So a lot of these products don't even have a net profit calculator for us to click on because it's FBM. And the way Jungle Scout, is able to calculate profits is by looking over here, these weights and dimensions, which is how Amazon calculates it. But these sellers aren't using FBM. I see, or FBA, sorry. So what we'd want to do is, that's a bad example. We want to find a net profit calculator. So I can just pull this one up because it's the only one available.
Yeah.
And let's say we're going to sell this product at the low price point of $20 that we mentioned. And what did I say, Lenny? It was like $5 for the product cost.
Yeah.
We can add that in here, but we know like it's not going to be $5 just because it's $5 on the page here. That's just that's like half the cost of goods. That's just the product cost, but we need to factor in a lot of different things, shipping it, both like, to the USA where we would be selling, as well as shipping it to Amazon, and then a lot of other fees too. So Lenny, what do you think? What do we increase $5 to be more realistic?
Yeah, see, I'm trying to imagine the size of it. I mean, I would test out maybe both $3 and $4. And again, we're just doing it very roughly right now. The next best thing would be to get an actual estimate. But okay, so if we
at $3 more.
If we do $3, okay, so if it costs $3 more, $8 in total, it looks like the ROI and the profit margin on a $20 product price is not that great. Was that okay, so the average price was around $21. Was that pretty accurate? Yeah.
The average price was $26.83. So like, I guess what we just did right there is the worst case scenario. Like when you're just starting out, you do want to sell like pretty low to get those sales going and the reviews up. But eventually you could see selling at the average price, which is 26. And there we go. Now we're above 100. And I guess, add context to this is we like to look for products that have over 100% ROI percentage when we're doing product research. Any product under that, unless the demand is crazy high and we have ways that we can differentiate and we're really confident with selling it, we wouldn't look at it. But in this case, at least we can be confident is once we start to raise our price, we could potentially, if these numbers are right, get to that 100% ROI percentage. So a little helpful, a
Yeah.
little inspiring, I guess. But other than that, everything else looked pretty bad.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of like our process here of how we go from like finding an
Yep.
idea, and then we're sort of verifying these three main things: the demand, the competition levels, and then the profitability. Now, this isn't a all-inclusive profitability calculations. Of course, we just grabbed some estimates off of Alibaba, which I think are probably going to be reasonably close. The $5, certainly the $3 shipping calculation is purely just an estimate. At this stage, when you're looking for a product, you certainly can go out and get freight forwarder quotes, and you can get much more detailed, accurate quotes for shipping. And you can also reach out to suppliers on Alibaba and get more specific prices on the product itself. But you don't want to do that at this stage. At this stage, we're just trying to come up with, let's say, a list of 5 to 10 product ideas that seem like they could be opportunities. We're just doing rough calculations now just to get them onto our short list. Then when we've got, say, 5 to 10 ideas, then we're going to spend more time on each of those to really drill down and get more accurate pricing. So that's kind of what our process is here.
Yeah, and Lenny, I just real quick here, I brought up our pee pads here. This is a product, if you're not familiar, that we sell here at Jungle Scout. We've documented the entire process here on our YouTube channel, so check it out. It's an entire playlist called the $1 Million Case Study. You can see how we found and launched and eventually scaled this product to, as you can see, over 400 monthly sales, and we're doing pretty well on it. But I just wanted to show you by pulling up our profit calculator on the product that we sell. Kind of what we did, just very short here, is we're selling at $36.99 right now, which is a long ways away from Lenny. Do you remember, was it $19 or $20 in that range that we started selling?
Yeah, I think it was basically $20 because it was, the price was I think at $24, but we had a coupon or something that made it come down to $20 to the customer.
Yes. And then if I remember correctly, I was just looking at this today actually. Our product cost, everything included, shipping, everything included, was just around $11. I think it was actually like $10.98 or something, like a few cents under $11. And so just to show you what that looked like is 2% ROI, everything included. And I don't know, Lenny, do you remember what the initial product cost was? Like if you looked it up on Alibaba, would it be $5? Do you remember?
It was, I think it was like $7.55, and then, so it must have been about, roughly $3 or just over $3 or so for the shipping per unit.
So like a product like this, where it's actually probably a little bit heavier than the product that we looked at. It's still a standard product. It's not oversized. You can see here, large standard size, and our what is it? Our total FBA fees are $8.80 there, which is what we pay to Amazon, and then what we pay our supplier is $10.98 per product, and then what we got back was not even $1 here. You see our ROI well below 100. But eventually, as we scaled up to, I think $29.99 was a price that we were really happy with. You can see that goes up to 80%. And then really where we found a lot of our success is at this $32.99 price, which just gets us over 100% ROI. Now, we've done a few things to, we're actually trying to slow down our sales right now and, purposely trying to increase our price. But even at a $36.99 price where we're at now, you can see how that story evolves when you first start out, and then when you grow. We're just past our year mark. So you don't need to hit 100% ROI when you first start. But we were at least calculating our goal if we were to hit, sell at $32.99. So that's just something to consider: is have your worst case scenario price, which was for us $20, and then have your goal price, so you know what you can eventually get to.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Like you said, Jake, you don't need to have that 100% ROI up front. You just need to be able to verify that it's a possibility. You need to be able to see that, like, if your 100% ROI price is like $15 above everyone else and your product is pretty similar to them, then it's probably not realistic that you're going to be able to sell at that price. But if you can see evidence that other listings are selling in and around that price, then you know that you've got somewhere to go to. then yeah, that it's fine for that to kind of happen over time as you build up those sales and reviews. Good point.
Awesome.
All
Well,
right.
great. I don't feel confident, Lenny, is doing what we do every episode and adding this product to our product tracker, which is this sheet here. Where we're keeping track of everything. And I don't like this idea. Maybe you do, but I say we
Yeah,
actually skip it, move on to
I
product
think
two, and
so.
hopefully find something that we're more proud of. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
let's do
All
it.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, essentially we're going to repeat the process now. We're going to keep going through this list. I don't know, maybe we can see if we can go through it a little faster, but hopefully
Yeah.
all this discussion is helping you all out. If so, give us a thumbs up down
Yeah.
below. And with that, I'm going to put another 15-minute timer on the clock. Let's
Cool.
do it.
Let's do it. And I guess as we're doing this, guys, feel free to engage with us in the comments, ask any questions. We can pull them up on screen and answer your questions. So definitely feel free to ask anything that you're curious about as we're doing this. So with that, let's go ahead, Lenny, and look at the
Yeah.
next product here.
So
One thing
like,
that I can't help but notice. Yeah, I want to hear what you were going to notice first.
oh no, all I was gonna say is like as I'm going through, I'm seeing things like coffee glass or even mason jar,
Yeah.
just like noting in my head, like okay, those are made of glass. They
Yes.
could be breakable. There's a little more risk with those, so that's the like one thing that popped into my head. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. We haven't really talked about some things you shouldn't look for outside of the size. I was gonna say the one thing that pops up. I see refrigerator, drink organizer for fridge,
Hmm.
and then this is glass, but food storage container. That same type of idea seems to be really populating at the top here. That's probably the same thing. So it could pick our poison here: drink organizer, refrigerator, drink
Yeah.
organizer. So if I just open one up here, this top one, I would love to see if this is very consistent, which it is. That's great. This one's really strong, Lenny. It's like none of these months in the past 2 years have dropped over 1,000 or 2,000 units sold, which is very, very strong. And the price point, average price is $38, which is awesome. It's going up in price, which is something that we haven't talked about yet. You want to see a consistent price range, similar to the average units sold over the past year or 2 years, whatever timeline you want to look at. I would recommend at least a year. COVID kind of made that a little issue, so you have to do 2 years in a lot of cases. But if you're seeing a average price on a niche go down, that's scary because now there's a lot of people coming in and oversaturating the market, making other sellers lower their price just to compete. But in a category like this, so far, it's showing promise because it's going up in price, and that's what you want to get into. I won't go into this too long, but search volume here is based off of the exact keyword refrigerator drink storage. So that is probably a very strong keyword as we can kind of check here. It's, a lot of cases under 500 monthly exact searches, which is, in my opinion, low. I look for things over 1,000, but keep in mind that's for the exact match keyword, exactly how it's written here. But I'm sure the word or this niche has different keywords that are a lot higher. And, one thing that we can do here is we can take that keyword. And if you're a Jungle Scout user, you can actually use the Keyword Scout tool, enter that in or enter a product in that niche. And it's going to show you better words to
Yeah.
use. So word fridge organizer has over 100,000 monthly searches. Bins is probably the keyword we want to use here.
Yeah.
Fridge
Interesting.
and storage clear. Yeah. So this is where you'd go to also think about demand and I guess help you look up the products in the niche.
Cool. So, do we want to look at this one on Amazon or do we want to try one of those other popular keywords?
Yeah, let me
What do you think?
throw them both up on screen real quick so I can,
Yeah.
just put this icon here that will populate that term there. That one was, basically this refrigerator drink organizer. And then, we want to be somewhat accurate. We don't want to just go really broad here with fridge organizer. That might actually be a good place to start, but for the sake of
Hmm.
time, 11 minutes left, we should
Maybe
probably
the
start halfway through the
bins.
funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you,
And
maybe,
that
yeah,
one
refrigerator
still
organizer
has
bins.
insane sort of search volume
Yes,
there.
over 100. Yeah, almost, yeah, 100,000 more than the top one we're looking at. And I guess if we, look at this one real quick, just at a high level, these are all sponsored products. So I might go down one more level to see the organic stuff. So that's what it looks like a little bit. Just get an eye on it.
Okay.
And then this next one. So this next one looks a little bit different, but I think the idea is the same because what you're seeing here
Yeah.
is not specifically for drinks. Over here, we're seeing specifically for drinks. So I like the idea, Lenny, like we mentioned, starting up here first at the highest level and then going down. But in the sake of time, I say we maybe just start at
Yeah.
drinks, and then come back if we can't find anything.
Okay.
Because like even here, you can see by doing a little space after this, there's so many different options. There's dispenser, bin, pusher, stackable, different ways that you can differentiate the product. Like this one's stackable. This is like a whole thing that you'd see like in a vending machine, and there's a lot of different options. It looks like so. This could be a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. And so like what Jake did there when he put the space, Amazon's just displaying the sort of top most popular search terms there. So you know that people are searching for all of those things that were in the list. Therefore there's, quite likely to be good demand for those sort of subcategories or niches.
Hmm.
All
Cool.
right.
So while Joe Scout's thinking here, because my computer's a little bit slow. Sorry about that. It's looking really strong. I mean, we're now seeing a lot of the products here at the top, like really crushing it. But also, as you come down here, I think there's a little bit of distribution. There's some that are, it's a little bit of worry seeing these, some that have like 2 and 14. But as I scroll down, I am still seeing a lot of sellers that get more than 10 daily sales.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot there that are
Sounds
getting
good.
more than 10 daily sales, or a lot there that's getting over 400 monthly sales. So I feel like the
Hmm.
distribution's reasonably good here. Um, then, yeah, so I think like demand is there. If we look at the price point, because again, we want it sort of between that $20 to $70 mark is a good starting point to give you the best chance of having a profitable product. Looks like the average price is about $26. If
Hmm.
you look specifically at the prices, there is one there that is at $11,
Oh yeah, right
which is a
here.
little bit on the cheaper end, but it looks like a lot of the others are quite, uh, quite good as far as pricing goes. We'd have to kind of like spend a bit of time looking at all the different variations of drink organizers and sort of
Yeah,
decide what type do
exactly.
we want. Because I guess it's like there's maybe like one type there that is very cheap, but then there's other types that you can get a better price point for.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something we do is sort of look at some of these options here. It's, dispenser, bins. I saw pusher, stackable, mini cans could be interesting. Like one of these could be a good way for us to pivot real quick to maybe find something that's a little more narrowed down rather than like a whole bigger category here. Do any of these sort of stick out to you or seem interesting?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't know. I think maybe we just kind of pick one and kind of see how the results differ. Um,
Yeah,
like, yeah, maybe the bins or bin stackable.
I like that. Yeah, sort of niching down with 2 extra words here, and we see, okay, they're bins now. So I guess you could put way more stuff than drinks in here, which is cool. But if we wanted to stick with drinks, we could find stuff just like this, where you can see how that has a lid on top of it, which acts as a bottom as well to stack it on each other. So these are the types of products that we'd want to really look at. One thing we can do, Lenny, is when we're looking at this niche here, and you're looking at any niche on Amazon, and really in our scenario here, we're trying to just like eliminate the ones that we don't want to look at anymore. Like we would still look at them, but once we're eventually niching down, we'd want to make it very honed in on the type of drink organizer we're trying to find here, and so we can actually just like get rid of certain ones by clicking this X
Yeah.
button, and then that will redo the data up at the top, the average data, and then just get it away from our view so we don't have to look at it. So like if we wanted to get rid of this because that's doesn't look like a drink one, we could, and stuff like that. So won't do that right now for the sake of time, but I think we're seeing a lot different lists now. So this is looking pretty decent. Seeing a lot more sales distribution here.
Yep. Yeah, the demand looks really great. Lots of high numbers, well distributed. There's not many that haven't got good numbers as far as sales.
Mhm.
Looks like the average price point is $29, but it's also more consistent all the way throughout. In that
Yeah.
broader search, you would, if you remember, there was like, I think it was like one that was $100, and there's one that was $48, and there were some that were like $11. So
Yep.
it was, you know, it had a good average price, but it actually fluctuated a lot. This feels a lot more consistent because we've sort of
I
narrowed in
agree.
on more of a specific type of drink organizer. So I think, yeah, price, demand, workout. Then if we, I guess, maybe look at competition now.
Yep. So we got the rating number over here. Um,
Yes.
Yeah. So we sometimes try to quantify this, and we say look for a niche or like really like a subcategory under 1,000 as the average for the top 10 products. And you can see the average up here is over 2,000, but that's incorporating all 47 products listed here. Um, I think even if we take the top 10 products, which is a little bit more than what we're seeing on the screen here, it's probably going to be over 1,000 or two. So that's not a hard and fast rule, but we do talk about that being a good indicator, and you can come up with whatever number you feel makes sense to you. Really depending on the category, it's going to be different. So, what are you seeing here, Lenny? I definitely see some sellers in the thousands, which is scary, but I like to look on the bright side a lot of times and see the sellers who are under like 100 or at 100, like this guy, and see what they're doing, and maybe you look at the date first available to check how long it took them to get there.
Yeah, so definitely this is a more competitive niche. There are certainly many sellers here that are over 1,000 reviews or ratings. So
Mm.
that side of things, yeah, I just want to identify that it is quite competitive. But like you said, you can look at the bright side in terms of like there is a
Yep.
listing that's ranking on the first page of results that only has 100 ratings there. So
Yep.
it appears that like it is possible to get onto this first page of search results where so many sales come in.
Yep.
It's just if you were to sell this product, you are most likely going to need to invest more money and a little more time. Just to quickly call back to the
Agreed.
example that Jake brought up earlier with our own product, the washable pee pads, we launched that into a market which was very similar to
Yeah.
this, where all the other listings had thousands of reviews. It was a very
Oh yeah.
competitive space. So it definitely can be done. It just means you have to be a little more aggressive, sell at a lower price for longer until you really build up that base of reviews. So it is possible. I wouldn't recommend it if you're just starting out.
Right.
It probably is best for a more experienced seller to do a product like this, but I wouldn't say that it's out of the question.
Absolutely. Great. So I love this idea. I really do. I think it's, if we had more time, we'd be able to like get rid of this product where, this is the product that has under 100 reviews. It's different than what we're looking for because
Oh, I
um,
see. Yeah.
does it, you know what? Maybe it doesn't seem exactly like what we're looking for where it dispenses out of itself, if that makes sense. If I just kind
Yeah.
of zoom in, like if you take that Coke, it's the next one's going to fall down.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's just like a bin. So we would potentially get rid of that. Also, the extension, if you scroll over to the far right, you'll see that small oversize. So that's going to be a more expensive
Okay.
item because it looks like the dimensions are a little bit big, or for whatever reason, because it's a six pack. Um, Maybe that's why it's a little bit bulkier. So, um, yeah. So I guess, Lenny, what we'd want to do now is pull up Alibaba again
Yeah.
and look for this exact type of product that we can get an average cost for. So if I do that, what's my word here again? I'm going to do soda can organizer, stackable soda cans, like set of four. I'm seeing holds a 9 can, set of two there. Okay, so um, I don't know. Fridge. No, what is it?
Yeah, it's got like fridge organizer
Or I just
and
type a bunch of words in here.
do we
Here we
need
go. Here's one.
stackable? Oh, cool.
Yeah, stackable too. I mean, hopefully we can see that in the images here, and I'm seeing already a lot. So maybe I don't need to open these up again. But
Yeah.
okay, so we got three around $3, around $3. That's a really cheap one, but I wonder. Okay, I see real quick the shipping $4.59. So basically
Yeah,
a
okay.
$5 piece there. It's probably a smaller supplier. Um, and then this one here for $2. Okay. 3 to 5 or 6 almost. 1 to 5. I think this range is, I don't know. Oh, that's different. I think this has a really big range. 1 to anywhere in like the 2 to 450 range. I feel like would be pretty safe bet here.
Yeah. I don't know. Should we go with like $3 or three or
Yeah,
350 or something like that?
go with that. I'm gonna get the profit calculator open here, and then
Yeah.
350 sounds fair enough. I think we could easily find ones that are below that, but let's just do worst case scenario here. So Lenny, huge ROI, but what do we say? Another $3 at least for shipping?
Yeah. It's like you could even go to like even if we were to say even let's say that we went like $5 for the product itself and then another $3 and just go up to $8
$8. Okay,
just to kind of
grossly over.
see. So that
Yep.
I think is being extremely conservative. I don't think it would be
Mhm.
$5 for the product, $3 for shipping. I guess shipping is pretty expensive these days. That might be fairly accurate, even though it seems like a
Yeah.
fairly lightweight type product. But overall, if you combine all of that, I would feel pretty confident that you'd be able to get all of that for under $8 per unit. And it looks like if you do that, you are more or less at 100% ROI or
Yeah.
pretty darn close. Yeah.
I think that price is pretty fair too. I mean, if I just come back real quick,
Oh
average
yeah.
price of these products are $29, but like if we just are hyper focusing on the ones that we're going to be similar to, 25, 23. What's this one look like? No, this one right here is 24. So like in that mid 20 range to maybe low 20 range. That guy's a little bit low right now, but even we take his product, set of 4 here, add $8 to it at $19, which is a little bit lower than we like to sell. Okay, we're losing money. What's going on here? So what's the deal? Oh, this is probably an oversized product because it is an oversized product. So bad example,
Right.
but yes, I think we found a product that we can confirm even at $8, which seems a little bit over what we can probably get it for. At a medium of the road price, we're basically at that 100% ROI, and all it would take probably is an extra 50 cents.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And then
almost like an extra dollar.
yeah, real quick, I always like to do sort of a worst case
Hmm.
scenario, or sorry, more so a break even price. So like I'd always like to find what is the lowest price that we could sell it at and more or less break even. So it looks like it's about 18 or $19. So yeah, somewhere between just over $17.
Yep,
Yeah,
just over 17.
if you sold this
Fair
at
enough there.
$18, you would, basically, if the average price is sort of $25 or $25 to $29, you would probably want to start out selling this at $18 to $22, or the amount of discount that you offer sort of depends on the type of product. Um, but yeah, you could sort of see that, like, okay, in worst case scenario, we could drop our price to $17.35 and at least make our money back. So that's always kind of comforting to know. I'm very
Yeah.
confident if you came in at $17, everyone else is like over $25, then you'd at least be able to sell out your inventory and get your money back. Or, that would just be a good step to help you gain those initial sales and reviews.
Yeah, and if you're watching this right now and you just want to see, how we did it more, obviously you watch the $1 million case study. There's a lot of YouTube videos on our channel. I highly recommend. I'm going to bring a video up here real quick, that you should watch. It's this one right here, our under 10K Amazon FBA product launch, and it has a whole Q&A afterwards too, so you can sit and watch, listen to how we answer some questions. But we actually talk about how we launched our product, and a lot of what Lenny just mentioned is answered in that video or really shown in that video. So definitely recommend checking out this video if you haven't seen it already. It's an awesome video. Cool.
All
Lenny,
right.
I think we like this idea, so I can,
Yeah.
if maybe when I take some questions, I can start adding. What we would do now, I guess, is add these products, at least 10 of them, the similar products, into our product tracker by just clicking this plus icon from the extension. and that will basically come and live here where I had it open originally in the product checker once it's added. So I'll go ahead and let you just do that real quick. Shouldn't
Yep.
take me more than a minute or two.
Great. I'm gonna grab a couple of questions here. One from Amir. And the question is, which strategy would you suggest for a newbie? Number one, start with a smaller volume, under $500, not private labeled, cheaper product to launch quicker and play with launch and PPC. So yeah, launch with a small volume, not private label, and then switch to private label. Or method number two, spend a few more weeks choosing a product, negotiating with suppliers, doing designs, etc. for a private label product and a big launch. Great question. So you're saying, do you start with a smaller amount, maybe not even private label? There are other business models on Amazon. You can do wholesaling, where you basically sell someone else's product. That is a nice, easy way to get started because you don't need as much money up front. The downside is that there's typically less profit than private label. It is a great way to get started, and it's good because you often learn so much the very first time that you sell something on Amazon. So there are advantages to it being, a lower investment, etc. Just whilst you understand the Amazon platform and how it all works, then you'll be more experienced and probably more likely to succeed when you switch over to private label. A couple of other ways to sell on Amazon would include retail arbitrage, retail or online arbitrage. It's the process of finding existing products, but you find them at clearance at Target or Walmart or that sort of thing, and then resell them on Amazon. In there, they would need to be in the same condition of new, but you can resell them for a small profit. That's another great way that people can often get started selling on Amazon. The biggest downside to that is that you've got to keep going out and finding new products. So there are some ways like that to start with very low capital upfront. Or you could do private label and just start with a smaller amount, less than 500, just to sort of verify that the product idea, that the people are buying it, that the product idea is good. Or like Amir said, option number two is just to spend a little bit longer and doing one big product launch for this main product that you're sort of going all in on. I personally lean towards number two and just kind of going for a big private label launch. That's just because personally that's how I started out. I didn't start with any other business model. I started with private label. I did all of the research, designed my product, launched it, and sort of went all in on my first product. At the time, I didn't have the knowledge that I do now. So I just jumped in and went for it. And so it definitely can be done, and I'm definitely a fan of that model. I don't think I've got a specific suggestion. You can really do it either way. You can go for a big launch with more units, or you could hold off and or you could just launch with a smaller number of units to just start testing that market and learning the ropes. So I don't think there's one way or another that's better. That you just have to give it your best shot. All right. Let's see. Comment here from George. He said he was also struggling with product research and just yesterday posted my first product. I'm assuming that sounds like you've launched a product, so congratulations, awesome. George. Yeah, that's really awesome. Let's bring Jake back in here. All right, so how are we going? Are we ready to perhaps look at a third product idea, Jake?
I think we're ready. Yep, added those products, those similar products to our product tracker, so we can come back and kind of analyze it later, and maybe at the end of the season we'll do like a whole big kind of like which product would we sell, and we'll look into it more. But Yeah, we're all ready to do our third product, or look for our third
Okay.
product. Second product, but yeah.
Yeah, you all know what we mean. All right. So I am gonna put the 15-minute countdown on the clock. Let's do it.
All right. All right, Lenny. So what are you seeing here? I'm seeing something very vague at the top here. Get well soon gifts for women. That's obviously not a great idea just to start with, or as the end goal. But like to start with, I love actually looking at stuff like this because you go down a rabbit hole. Like we won't do it right now. It just takes way too long. But just looking up what it is on Amazon, you can see so many different ideas, and it's just a cool place to start thinking. But for the sake of time, we won't go there. But stuff like that's a cool way to start thinking because you'll find something that can work as that. It could work as a get well soon gift, but that doesn't have to be the whole marketing strategy. So, cool place to start.
Yeah, so what else have we got? Lettuce spinners. That's like an example of something that's very simple, but I'm just
Hmm.
guessing. I'm sure that's very very saturated, and maybe it's could be
Perhaps, yeah.
fairly cheap. Um,
Price is going up. That's good. The top products, yeah. Just in case you're not aware what one of these look like, something like this, where this one does have a USB, but I don't think it has to be a electronic based,
oh,
and,
okay.
and
Yeah,
probably is an outlier because I've seen these before and they're not electronic based. And that's something we've talked about is if you can't avoid electronics, it's just an issue. It's going to, there's a lot of quality issues with, when you have batteries and stuff. And there's also a lot of liabilities, and Amazon is, hard on people with batteries. It's can be more expensive. You have to send in certification, stuff like that. So something like this one where it looks like there's no battery to it, that could be a good start. But um, yeah, it is a
yeah,
basic product. I would be curious about the competition as well.
yeah. I don't know if this is right or not, but like lettuce spinners to me, it sort of like reminds me of just like one of those like cliche FBA products like the garlic
Yep.
press or the I don't know whatever like yeah those products that people always reference when they're talking about selling online. So I'd probably stay away from it for that reason. But it's always
I would
interesting to kind
too.
of like look through the pictures and things.
Yeah, because like I haven't seen anybody so far just like really quickly looking at the pictures differentiate the product. Like not saying you can't get into this, like we were talking about for those reasons, but if you did, you found a way to differentiate the product. It looks like I have it sorted by monthly sales, so these are like the top players, and you see
Yeah,
Oxo or OXO, however they pronounce it, using these big brands. But even they're not differentiating it. So if you did come in and differentiate it, you potentially could slide in and get a lot of these sales. They're making a ton of money, but those are big brands. So
yeah.
maybe we stay away from that, and we just look at something else here. Bread dispenser
Okay. What does
had a
that kind
bad
of
month
look
there,
like?
but
Yeah.
a bread dispenser, yeah. So I'm aware of what these are because I'm actually in the market for one. This
Okay.
is a plastic
Oh,
one,
I
but
see. Yeah.
usually they're made out of wood. Um,
Oh,
it's got like a
bamboo.
nice artesian, yeah. Okay, bamboo, yeah. It's very artesian and um, stylish, but looks like you could save cost and go plastic or whatever this is. Maybe that's glass, but
Yeah.
um, I think that's plastic probably, but that's what it looks like, and it seems cool. If we look at the
Yeah.
trend here, I
I
see
wonder
one
is
bad
that
month. But I'm not
yeah.
sure what happened there.
I'm curious if that's still standard size or whether some of those are sort of hitting
Hmm.
oversize.
Well, this product, for example, you can if you have the extension and you pull up a product, you can usually see the
Oh,
tier right
nice.
here without pulling up the actual extension. So like
So it's
large
still
standard
standard.
size, or
Nice.
if we do like a full search for it, we'd obviously be able to find this information a lot faster. You could pull up the extension up here like we've been doing, or if you have it enabled, once it fully thinks, you could actually set it up down here. I actually don't have that set up. I could customize my view and add the product tier
Yeah.
to this as well, but you could do that without having to um, pull up the full extension. But my page is gonna have to refresh, so probably faster to do this. Um, but yeah, using the extension I think is interesting because we showed this in a recent video. If you guys are interested in selling books on Amazon like
Mm.
KDP, I demoed a way to just use the extension and do what we did in the opportunity finder by filtering results from here. So I won't do that yet, but Lenny, this might even be like if we ever needed to go even faster on finding a product, we could start here. Or maybe this would be our second base. Like we want to get the idea first from Opportunity Finder, like we're doing now, and then just kind of live in here for a little bit. But at a high level, just on this bread dispenser, I know there's different types that we're seeing plastic and wood mixed together, but it seems pretty strong. But then I'm coming down here and I'm not seeing a lot of sales.
Yeah, so it's like pretty strong at the top. It's like it looks like maybe the top 10, there's most of the top 10 has a lot of sales, but it does seem to drop off pretty quickly. There is, that one listing
Yeah.
there with zero apparently, and then
Yeah.
at the very bottom of the page, there's it starts to drop down a bit to like 98 sales per month or one per day. So
Totally
yeah,
different product too.
yeah, this is where I guess like our previous example, you'd maybe want to niche down a little bit and find out, are people searching for a particular material or type of bread
Hmm.
dispenser, or does it, one with a lid, or,
Right. 2-pack.
yeah,
I liked the bamboo one. If you've seen our,
yeah,
$1 million case studies with, the first product that Greg sold was the bamboo sticks. And I think it looks nice too. I'm curious if this makes it any better for us. If we pull up the extension again, um, I think it looks nicer too. It's going to be a little bit heavier, of course, but bamboo is. eh, I've read recently it's one of the fastest growing plants or whatever it is in the world. So I don't think it's going to go out of stock soon. Uh, so just looking at this, it's still pretty low, Lenny. I don't know. What do you think? We run back to the Opportunity Finder to grab another product?
yeah. Let's maybe look up another example. I think it'll be fun to,
Yeah.
show some different examples.
Yep. It's good doing this too, so they see sort of what we're thinking. What are we seeing
Yeah,
here?
food cleaner,
Champagne
champagne
wall.
wall.
What does that look like? I think I know what that is,
Oh,
but
interesting. Like a,
hmm. Yeah. So this is like a good example, though. So
oh, interesting.
champagne wall. I bet a lot of people are typing that word in and buying this is like a flute, but because you know this tool is sort of seeing a lot of different products together, I probably wouldn't want to look into this. You could look into it, but it might not. All this information might not be 100% accurate because it's bringing in a lot of different stuff here.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not all the same type of product.
yeah, garbage bag organizer.
Garbage bag
See any-
organizer. I haven't. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I need to
what does
like
that look like?
redo my kitchen. I haven't heard of like half of these things.
So this is cool. Yeah, similar to our idea. It could be
Oh,
plastic, metal
okay.
wire, or
Wow,
bamboo-ish.
that is cool.
Different products here, and you can see just snapshots of the sales here. 46 daily sales, 114, 32. Now these plastic ones seem to be really popular. That's actually
Yeah,
a different product. So maybe we can stay there unless you see anything different, Lenny, that you think would be better to get into.
I think that's an interesting idea. It looks pretty simple to make.
Hmm.
I can imagine that. Yeah, there'd be great demand. Looks like a good price point.
Yeah, perhaps we just like niche down real quick so we know what we're looking for, whether it's this bamboo, wooden, or
Yeah.
because what is it? Garbage bag organizer. So I think this is what we want. We want because something like this is I've seen this before. It's like sandwich snack. It says if you can't see on the screen, it
Oh,
says
okay.
quart
Yeah.
sandwich snack and gallons. So it's like not just the trash bag. It's also going to have like
Yeah.
little bags for your sandwiches. So
So that
trash
one's
bag,
sponsored as well, so it didn't organically show up on this keyword
true.
anyhow. Yeah.
Yep. So this is actually a cool example though. When someone types in this word, they are going to have this option, the option of plastic, wooden, or metal. It's up to us to really look through them all individually. Like we're trying to niche it down right now, but like we'd want to niche it down and then go back to this page and then go to the next product, niche it down, go to the metal wire, niche it down, and do that again. So to see which one is the best one to sell.
Mm.
Um, if we just pick one, I don't see a lot of wooden ones that are exactly like that, but I wonder if wooden would be the way to go or plastic even. These seem to be the more popular ones with everything included. I wonder if that's even the way we pivot to a Ziploc storage organizer.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing a quick search on Keyword Scout to see if I can pick up on some
Mhm.
ideas
There
here,
you go.
but they're all very broad. So all the big keywords are like kitchen organization or pantry organization and storage, Ziploc bag organizer, pantry storage. I'm struggling to
Yeah.
find something a little more specific.
I just did a reverse search, Jason, keyword search for this product here, which seems to be very honed in on what it is. It's a trash bag holder. Um, and then seeing the first thing up here, trash bag holder as the number one, or dispenser even keyword. So if we wanted to find more of that, we could just do that. And then if we really just want to be similar to that product, we would type in wood or something that might be too niche. Who knows? Yeah, seeing a lot of different products here. Oh yeah, totally different products. So trash bag, I think dispenser was the other word I saw. Amazon's even having a hard time trying to find it. Um, Let me just take out the word wood there. Yeah, I mean, we could add it at a high level, and we could, you know, start at the high level and grab a bunch of different products, and then, like I said, you're not just analyzing a niche, but you're analyzing like the sub niches underneath it. So once we find that maybe trash bag dispenser as a whole is good, we'd want to then see, well, what's the best one? Is it the one
Yeah.
that looks like this or that or that? So
Yeah, I think it's a good exercise because sometimes you will find that, people are specifically looking for a wood version or a metal
yes,
version or a specific type, and that's a great way to niche down, like we've been talking about. Other times, I'm suspecting here, I'm starting to feel like maybe people aren't looking for a specific type. They're just typing in
yes,
trash bag dispenser and then they're picking the one that looks the best or, to them, which
yeah,
might be wood or metal or plastic. So
definitely.
yeah, we could just be competing with this product with all trash bag dispensers, and then we have to make the call about what material we want it to be made of, and whether we think that would kind of attract more people or not.
Yeah, I'm just going through here now and getting rid of like there's actually just like bags that are showing up in here that Amazon is suggesting for this keyword. So getting rid of that, but I do see some good data to start with, um, just for the holder dispenser themselves. Like it doesn't seem that strong if we look up here at the very top. But one thing I like to do is, and I don't know if this is going to be a strong enough category too, but what I showed in this KDP video, what you can do is directly from the extension is you can filter results here, and let's put our sales estimates here: 300 minimum, 100 reviews at the max, and then reapply these changes. And we went from 51 products down to 3. So this is a really quick way for us to have realized, like, hey, there's only 3 products that are able to get away with having under 100 reviews and 300 sales. So what are the odds that we can? Like, it's not impossible, but you see, outside of some of these products have launched within the past year, so that is encouraging. But that's just a quick way to maybe get to where we're at now. And it's like maybe this isn't the best category, but as a whole, it could be. Um,
Yeah, that's a cool
yeah.
idea. I like that hack.
Yeah, so I don't think we have time to grab another one here, but I think we could still add a lot of these products to our product tracker. If I even just remove the
Yeah.
100 rating number, we'd see our list populate again, and these are all achievable. It just might take us a little more time, or the odds
Mm.
might be a little bit lower. But yeah, I do think these ones that are relevant could be good ones to add. That's a bag, I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, I guess it kind of goes to show, we today's been a little bit more of a struggle to find products that we feel, um,
Yeah,
you know, reasonably good about to add into our product tracker. I would say it maybe is because of the category. It is such a big category that it's also
it is.
quite competitive, and I believe that we would be able to find more good opportunities, but you just kind of need more time to do so. The sort of 45 minutes ish that we have spent doing this is just not enough time. But hopefully, this gives you a little bit of a picture of what the process looks like. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna just check the pricing real quick. you think?
Yeah, I noticed a lot of these like the ones that hang on the wall, and I think those showed up a little bit in our tool here. Like we've seen this one here. This is like a mesh waterproof one, and I noticed that was over here, right here, for 55 cents. And these ones that are hanging on the wall, I would have sworn I saw a few. Like, yeah, this one looks like it's on the wall. That one looks like it could be on the wall. So those are other ideas. Like we didn't even consider that. I was, more so looking at like
Yeah, right.
a cool style here. Like that's the cool, I think, you know, delivery there. But if we're looking at this as
Yeah.
a whole, I think if we take a product like this, I'm seeing 50 cents, under a dollar for sure. That one's $3. Curious
Oh
why that's
wow.
so expensive, but yeah, 95 cents, 90. I feel like around a dollar would be safe, even if we go a little bit more because we're gonna play it safe. We could at least test the waters with that. Um, oops, keep going
Hmm.
back to the wrong one here.
That's why it's always interesting to look at the prices anyway, because the you know when I see a product that's
Oh
like
yeah,
under a dollar or around about a dollar, um, that does make me want to go back and revisit the idea because it's
yeah,
quite rare to find products that are so cheap to produce, and sometimes if a product, maybe you would rule it out because it doesn't meet that $20 price minimum that we're looking for, and therefore we're
right.
thinking that the profitability is not going to be great. But if you could source it really, really cheap, like for a dollar or maybe a couple of dollars,
Mhm.
then maybe it still could be an okay opportunity. And then if it's a very
Yeah.
competitive niche, if it's only $1 or $2, it's probably going to be easier for you to be more aggressive with that product and buy a lot
Mhm.
more units because because it's cheaper. So it is always interesting to look at the pricing.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't, typically try to like preface what we're saying with like, with $20 at the minimum as like you can sell under $20. We just wouldn't recommend it for new sellers. So like this is a great example of what you just mentioned, Lenny. 16.99 is what I'm seeing as actually maybe even a high price point for something like this. This one's $29, but I think that's an outlier. I was looking at a few of these and it's like this one here is $19. $15, like that type of stainless steel on the wall seems to be under $20. So if we took this one as an example, just to see like, can you sell under $20? Like, is that possible? And we put a product price of on the high end at $2 with shipping, extra $3. Maybe we go to $5. What's that costing us, or what's that going to get us? That's not a bad price. I mean, 16 or bad deal there. ROI of 73%. That's about $3 back at a under $20 price point can be pretty decent for you. It's just when you go below that, you're going to notice real quick, you're going to be getting close to 0% ROI when you go closer to $10, which a lot of these sellers are getting pretty close to. So you don't want to be in a category that's trending down price. You want to be in a category that's trending up, and that's why we like $20, because it's giving you a little
Yeah.
more wiggle room in case that does happen. So this is a good example that I think like you can get into if the demand was big enough. But I would just really try to get that cost down low, and yeah, hope the demand is high enough to where it can kind of make up for that in terms of volume.
Awesome. Uh, all right. So that's kind of the process that we're looking at. I guess finally, um, do you think it's worth adding anything to the product tracker, or perhaps not for this one?
I don't think we should. It's kind of
Yeah.
stinks because I think this could be a good category, but the demand's not there, and that's one thing you shouldn't budge on. Like that is,
Yeah.
we talk about it, and you can create less competition by changing your category or differentiating your product. You can be more profitable by increasing your price or lowering your cost. But the one thing you can't do on Amazon or really in business is create more demand. So if the demand's not there, I think that's immediately just like, okay, next. So this would be one where I'm glad we took the time to like confirm everything, but wouldn't want to proceed further knowing that you can't create more demand on Amazon for it.
Well said. Alrighty. So I guess kind of like to then give you an overview of sort of the process here. Is that you would just rinse and repeat what we did today. Again, you're trying to find at least 5 to 10 product ideas, even more just by doing this basic these basic calculations of demand, competition, and profitability. If it feels like it could be a good opportunity, then add it to the product tracker. And then what you'll have is you'll have a number of different product ideas in the Jungle Scout product tracker, which is then where you can start to compare them against each other. So we could show you that real quick. And it is really cool. Like Jake mentioned earlier, we've been sort of continually adding to this list each episode. So it's interesting that we're adding new products today that, not as many today, but in general, we're adding new products, but there's also ones that we've had there for a little while now, and we can kind of see how the ideas stack up against each other.
Yeah, just to kind of show you where I threw all that. It's right here. The fridge drink organizer only was able to add 8 in the short time that we had, but I'd love to go back and add at least 2 more to get up to that 10 minimum that we typically talk about. And then just this is great because if you're using Excel, that's awesome. But if you're using a tool like Product Tracker, this is going to constantly refresh itself. So you can come back and really track things. You want to see this product sales over the next 6 months, or the inventory, or if they're winning the buy box, you can keep notes and start really talking to yourself on like, hey, this is a good idea. I like what they did here. Maybe that's how I can differentiate. This is a perfect tool for that. And you see all your breakdown numbers here. Again, that is in real time. It refreshes as these products evolve. So Lenny, yeah. So what we have done, I guess, in this last couple episodes is we're looking at the products that we've added. In this case, one, like you mentioned, this drink organizer, and saying like we would usually compare it with the 3 products that we've added, but in this case, just one. I say we maybe compare it with all the other products that we've taken a look at in the past 4 episodes and seeing, is this better? Where does this fit in terms of our priorities? I think we basically said at the end of last episode that there was one product here that we would still go with, and I can't remember, but I'm sure we'll figure it out here shortly.
I know it's been a few weeks since we did this last, so I can't remember offhand, but just going off of the new product that we added, the fridge drink organizer. If we look at number 1, demand, so that's represented by our daily sales there. That one's at 48. There's some other lower ones. There's some higher ones. I feel like it's a pretty strong contender because you can see there's a lot there that are in that 10, 20, 30 range. This one's averages at about 50 sales per day, which is really strong. So definitely just sort of ticks as far as demand goes. If we compare reviews, you can see that it's definitely one of the more competitive overall. Yeah.
Definitely a little bit competitive. I got pulled up here too, like the star rating, which is important. So 4.65. It's interesting to look at that, and you can, if anything is below 4 really, or 3.5, I think that's really exciting because you're like, okay, these products, these listings aren't doing too hot. People aren't liking the products, but they're selling well. If I just come in and I make the product a little bit better, I'm sure I could, get a loyal customer base and get a lot of good reviews. So one thing I like to look at there, it is a little bit of a lower star rating, a little almost under 4.5. But I'm with you, Lenny. The reviews are pretty high, 3,000. There's other ones that are in little other ones that are a little higher, but in general, pretty high competition there.
Yeah. I would also then just note though that it seems like there's a possibility we could source this product a lot cheaper. And to my point earlier, it might make it easier to compete in a more competitive space if you can just afford to buy more inventory, essentially. So I would make that note. Then I guess the other thing is profitability, which is, very hard to kind of gauge off of this. I would, more so just be looking at the average net amount, which is the price point subtracting Amazon's fees, which is one big chunk of the cost. Amazon's fees, and then it's the product and shipping price, which, I can't remember the product prices for all of these offhand, but generally speaking, the larger the average net amount, the, probably more likely that it's going to be more profitable. So it's at $9.75 after Amazon fees. That means that we still need to take away the product cost and shipping. So yeah, if it was $2 and then another couple of dollars or $2-3 for shipping, that could be up to $5 or $4 to $5. you're at maximum going to
Mhm.
have $4 or $5 left over. So I feel like the profitability of this one is going to be very, very tight. It looks like a lot of these other ideas, are likely to have maybe more, more wiggle room there and more profitability.
I agree. That's that price point is like our second lowest one outside of this mouthwash holder at $20. And again, it's like if you're at that $20 price range, which is at the floor of what we would recommend, it's you're risking a little bit more, I guess, in terms of comparing it to this one that's $48. That if like Amazon increases their fees or something happens to your price or your cost, I should say, then you're not going to be making as much as you would if you just started a little bit higher. So you're sort of baking in the fact that things change and things get more expensive potentially, and that's something that would worry me. But as a whole, I don't think this is a bad category. Like I think there's a lot we can do to differentiate it. And I Lenny, we already talked about this today, but I just want to reiterate the fact that a lot of these ideas right now are just the higher level ideas. We did niche down as much as we could in the 15 minutes, but if we like the idea of fridge drink organizer, and I know we already niched it down to like the stackable one, but I'm sure there's different ways that we can niche down the 2-pack, a 4-pack, different colors,
Yeah.
different materials potentially. Like this is a starting point, so we'd want to do this first and then really dive deep and see all the variation possibilities and go from there. But um, I'm with you. A little concerning on the price, but what about like just comparing this to the other products, Lenny? Is there anything here that catches your eye? I'm trying to catch my thoughts from last episode, and I think I remember what I liked, but I'm curious to see what kind of jumps out to you as our best product so far.
Yeah, I guess I'm like scanning through the average daily sales. We've got car pump is really high, mini air pump, which is I think maybe electronic, so I'm not as sure about that. Other ones
Yeah.
that jump out to me, umbrella with clamp. Okay, it's starting to come back to me. That one has
Hmm.
pretty good sales. It seems like a fairly good price. A little bit competitive. Gosh, it's hard to kind of like go through all of these and sort of
It is.
pick an overall winner. Um, the umbrella with clamp is the average star rating's 3.99, so just under 4, like you'd brought up earlier, which I think is a good point. That
Mm.
one and car privacy curtains are a little bit under 4 for the average star rating, so there could be room for opportunity there to improve those products.
Yeah. That was a cool one, I thought. Where's that? Umbrella with clamp right here. Because I think if I remember correctly, I think it's episode 3 where we identify there's so many different versions of that. Like there's versions of that go on a baby stroller, which is like how we found that product, I believe. But it could just be a
Right.
regular umbrella with clamp that like clips onto your chair or something outside your beach chair. And so products like that we can't really quantify right here with numbers, I think it's important to take a look at because there's different ways that we can go, and like this isn't all incorporating the like the subcategories in that niche. So I like that one too. But if I remember correctly, Lenny, my two favorite were the silicone baby feeding set, which are
Yeah.
something like this, and I liked it because we found silicone obviously is very very cheap
Yeah.
material to make, and there's a lot of the demand was there, and there's a lot of different ways to vary it because you see there's 5 different products here on page, a fork, bowl, all these things, but there's so many different products and colors that we could add, and designs even to differentiate, so that differentiating factor was there for me. And I don't know if I like that one more or less, but the 16 daily sales, the other one too was get well soon baskets that I like. So just pulling one up here, these had similar numbers, but this one had a lot less competition because it seems harder to get into. You have to be a little creative and really make a custom box and know what to put in there. And you are competing with people who have oils and food, even like things that we would not recommend selling because of the inherent difficulties there. But I like this because there's a million different ways you can go with it. Again, going back to the improvement potential and making it different, that to me is at least a really big factor when I'm picking a product because it's almost 2023. We're not gonna. Everybody's jumping on Amazon and they're selling generic products. So the more you can differentiate, the better long term. So those are my two. The get well soon baskets that had 190 reviews, which is super super low, but 15 daily sales, and silicone baby feeding set with 16 daily sales and 500 reviews average. So
Yeah,
to me,
okay.
those are still my favorite.
Yeah, I like those two as well. My gut feeling is that the Silicon Baby feeding set would be easier to kind of get into now, but I feel like the
Right.
Get Well Soon baskets, if you can create a good one, that is probably going to last you a lot longer, or you're probably going to get further with that one. Yeah, for all the
Mhm.
reasons you mentioned, the fact that you can differentiate it so much, and also like you said, it's harder to get into as well. And I like that because, as you said, there's a lot more people coming onto Amazon. So I like the products that require more work and are harder to do because then that just
Yes.
eliminates so much competition. If it's a generic product that's easy to source and send in, then yeah, everyone's going to pile on and you're just going to have all this competition. But yeah, the harder it is, the more obstacles to make a product, then, the less people are going to go to that effort. So I like it for very similar to reasons to you.
Yeah, and real quick here, George in our chat asked a question about FBM. He said, "Is this for FBN or how does this work with FBM?" And I think we just sort of almost brought up a great point without saying it. But what we just showed today, everything the product research works for FBM and it works for other business models too, like wholesaling. Slightly different, levers that we'd want to pull and look at, but. Speaking directly to the FBM question here, because FBM is becoming a lot popular. If you don't know what that is, it's when you fulfill your products and store it them yourself rather than using Amazon's FBA program, and you get that Prime badge and you get free 2-day shipping and a lot of other helpful benefits, but you are still at the mercy of Amazon. Something like this, you see as custom packaging. I'm curious if that's an FBM product because you can't do custom packaging in FBA. You can send your product packaging in, and there might be ways to have them not put an Amazon box on it. I've seen a new way of doing that, but I don't know how possible and easy it is. So they're typically going to put a box over yours. But if you want the box to look really pretty out right away, like that's the first thing they see, then FBM is the way to go because you can customize your packaging. So everything we talked about today can work for FBA and FBM, and it could be a selling point if you do use FBM, so because you can do a lot of different things that you can't do with FBA. So great question. Just wanted to make sure we got to that.
Definitely. Alrighty, so that comes to the end of our product research session here. If you've enjoyed it, please let us know by giving us a thumbs up down below. If you have any ideas about what you would like to see more or less
Yeah.
of in future episodes, if there's any particular categories that you'd like us to look at, then be sure to let us know in the comments below. Or even once our live stream ends here,
Yeah.
refresh the page, you'll be able to leave an actual comment on the video rather than in the live chat right now. So definitely make sure to do that if there's any ideas that you have for us in the future. If you would like to see how we went through this process in more detail to find the products that we're now selling on Amazon, like the washable pee pads for dogs that we've mentioned, then go to our channel, make sure you check out the $1 Million Case Study Season 5. You'll see exactly how we found that product and then all of the other steps to launch it and optimize it on Amazon. So thank you so much for joining today. Again, make sure to like the video and also subscribe if you're not on the channel already, and to get notified of future product research episodes. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video. Take care,
Yeah.
everyone.